for the skirt, I'm going to be using this same fabric that I use as my lining for the top is what I'll be also using for the skirt. It is a thick crepe, and I also have my lining and then my zipper and of course the matching thread. Then for the fringe, was not able to get that shade of brown, so I'm just going to manage what I have here. So the fringe I have here, I bought 5 inches. I don't know how much I'm going to be using at the end, but I bought a 5 yards, and the length of this is 25 inches. So the length of this fringe is 25 inches, and I got it at the market for 2,300 per yard. So if you are going to be buying the same length of fringe, so you should be budgeting around this value. So go ahead and cut this. So to cut the skirt part of this outfit, I have gone ahead to just draw out my basic lines. This is my waistline, this is my waist to hip line, and then this is my total length of the skirt. So like I said, my waist to hip is at 8 inches. That is what I've drawn out here. The same thing, my skirt length at 20. Then I think I want to reduce the length of the skirt to 18. So just whatever length you want to use for your own. Sorry about that. Whatever length you want to use for your own, please go ahead and just draw out your total skirt length. So this 18 inches that I just marked now is going to be our new skirt length. So you can just ignore this one. And now for this kind of method that we want to cut this skirt, it is a dartless skirt. It's not going to be having any darts, and it is also going to be having both contour at the back of the skirt just to bring out the curve that is actually at the back. So I'm going to be using that method for this skirt. So to be able to get that measurement, first thing you need is your hip measurement. Your hip measurement divided by 2. The hip that I'm using for this particular one is for this sake is at 40 inches. So 40 divided by 2 will give me 20, right? 20 inches. So now for the front and the back measurement is not going to be the same thing because there is the bum at the back. So the bum at the back is going to be having more inches than that of the front. You know, the front, the only part that is bumpy is the breast part. Around the hip area, there is no bum in the front. So for the back, the bum is at the back. So the back will obviously carry more inches. So now, after you have divided your hip divided by 2, this is how you'll be able to get your front measurement for the skirt and that of the back. So now for the front, you want to take what you have here, 20, and then you minus 1.5 from it. You minus 20 minus 1.5, and when you minus 20 minus 1.5, you'll be having 18.5 inches, right? Then for your front, that 1.5 that you subtracted from the front, add it back to the back skirt. So 20 that you have here again plus 1.5 will give us 21.5 at this point. So if you are going to be adding these two values together, if you're going to be adding this and this together, you should be getting 40. So whatever your own measurement is, use it. If your measurement is by 36, divided by 2, whatever you get for the front minus 1.5, for the back add the 1.5. So make sure that what you're subtracting for the front, you're adding it back to the back. So when you add this together, you should be having your actual 40 hip length. So make sure that after you're done with all of these subtractions and additions, make sure that all the sum total at this one is going to sum up back to your hip. So now for the front hip, what we are going to be using is 18.5. For the back is at 21.5. And you know that this thing that now we are cutting it on fold, right? And you are going to divide it 18.5 by 2. By 2 again. Then this one we divide it by 2. So now 18. So we'll go ahead and try to cut this front skirt. So this is going to be the front skirt. So like I said, whatever your value is for the front, divide it by 2. If you do not get it, you can just reverse the video so that I can be able to get what I'm explaining. So now, like I said, there is no that. I'm going to be maintaining my normal waistline. The waistline is at 26 inches. So 26 divided by 4 is 6.5. 26 divided by 4 is at 6.5 inches. Now for the hip part, I'm going to be using this hip measurement. You know that we already divided this front and back measurement, so we're not dividing by 4, we're dividing by 2. So 18.5 divided by 2 here, I will be having it at this point. That is 9 inches and 2. 9.2 here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it. So I've been able to get my front measurement that way. Then I'll go ahead and connect this using my curve. So this is what I am having at this point. Now, as my total length, what I want to do is you can take your waist measurement and add it back here, and then try to connect it to get the shape that you want at the lower part. If you want it to be really pencil, or again, you can decide to take your hip measurement minus 5, then whatever you get divided by 4. I don't know if you get that. If you don't want to repeat the waistline measurement that you have here, or you don't want to do the regular replacing of this one, you can just do your hip measurement minus 5 divided by 4. So for me, my hip is 40 inches, minus 5 is 35 inches. That 35 inches divided by 4, I'll be having 8.75. So that is 8.5 inches and a quarter. So 8.75 is marked here. So you can just go ahead and connect it straight like this. So now at this point, we are done drafting the back. Then you can just try to blend in any place that you feel like is too sharp. Blend in with your curve tool. Any place that is too sharp, go ahead and blend it in. So now this part now is our front skirt. Then we'll go ahead and cut for the back. Remember, for the back is 21.5. That 25.5 divided by 2 is what you go ahead and add on the back skirt. So this is the back skirt. I've gone ahead to also mark my waistline, my hip line, and also my total length. My total length, like I said, I changed my mind to 18 inches. I'm just going to go ahead and correct it here. My hip line at 18 inches. So here. So this thing with 18 inches that I'm marking is what I did in the front. I'm changing my mind on the length of the skirt that I want. So this is the back pattern, and I've also added the zip allowance. So don't forget to add zip allowance for your own when you are cutting for your back pattern. So now we are going to, now this is the front pattern that we cut. So you want to place them following the lines and just try to align it at this point like this. Okay. So once you know, you can just try and use your paint to secure. But before then, the measurement for the skirt is at 21.5 inches. So you want to be sure that whatever is left at this point, don't place it on the hip line like this. No, just try to leave enough space that would contain the back measurement. So 21.5 divided by 2. 21.5, that is for the back measurement, divided by 2 is at this point here. So I want to make sure that I'm going to be placing it like this. This is the measurement. This is where the measurement is starting here. Here. So I'm just going to mark it, try to place it, and try to align this head here. Yeah. Or to even make this easier, you can just try to go in from your zip line by 1.5 inches, since that is the value that you use to add. So just place it this way. So your 21 inches divided by 2, 21.5 inches divided by 2 will start from here and end here. I don't know if you understand that. I'm just trying to align. Okay. So now it's on a straight line. Then I'll go ahead and just try to secure it now with your paper tape or anything that I can use to secure. I'm just using paint. That's the closest I can find. So after securing it like this way, this is the part that towards this zip allowance is what you'll be making adjustment to. This part here, you're going to leave it just as it is. The 1.5, the 21.5 divided by 2, like I said, the measurement will start from here. This is, you know that this is what I marked on my pen, on my tape. So towards coming like this, and it ends here. Okay, so that is how we are going to be doing it. So now, remember that we're not touching the waist or anything. Now, this point here is where the 1.5 inches starts from. So you want to connect it from your waist using your curve on like this. And just connect it straight to the waistline this way. Okay, so this is just for the back, the bump contouring part. You get that? Then for the down part of this, you want to come down by your waist to your under bum. If you don't have to take your waist to under bum measurement, this is how you can take it. So just go ahead. For me, it is at 13 inches. I'm just going to go ahead and mark the 13 inches here like that. Then I also curve it using the curved rule to this point. So there you go. This is how it is going to be looking like for the back pattern. So I just try to draw it on a straight line like this. So that is what we have here. So now you can now, following this shape that you now have here, you can now go ahead and redraw out your zipper allowance. So watch how I want to go about cutting this. So now I'm gonna have to cut these pieces out. This is for the front, and then this is for the back. So all this effect is what is going to help us to control the bum. So now to the design that I actually want to have for this skirt, I am just going to draw like you draw out your normal Basque waistline, and from the total length of the skirt, I'm going to be coming up by 4 inches this way. Then now that 4 inches, I'm going to connect it to this edge here. This is the 4 inches, just going to connect it this way, like this. So this is what I'm going to get. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out like this. Then also I can just place this and then go ahead and cut it out as well. Now for this one, this is where for the back, I'm going to be stopping the measurement from the slant. It's going to be stopping here because this is my zipper allowance, so it's not going to be eating into it. So here, so go up by 4 inches like I did. So now this is what my pattern is going to be looking like. I'll go ahead and add my my stitching allowance. I'm going to add the hem allowance here at half an inch. This side there will be no allowance because there's already zip allowance there. So this one I'm just going to add my normal allowance for my seam. I'm going to be using 1.5 inches. At the waistline as well, I will add half inch as my stitching allowance. So stitching allowance, I'm going to be having it up here and down here half an inch. Only at the side 1.5 inches. This will be left out. So for the back, I'll be having half an inch stitching allowance on the down part and on the upper part. This side is going to be cut on full, so there is no allowance. So then this side as well, be having 1.5 inches. I'm going to have to cut the fabric and then also the lining. So I'm going to be placing the fabric and the lining right side facing right side, and I'll go ahead and stitch it all around by half of an inch. But I'm going to be leaving a part somewhere that I will use to turn out the other parts. I'm just, for example, stitch all around, and then when I get to here, I will skip some parts and then jump here and then stitch this just so I can be able to turn out the lining with the fabric. So the same thing, I'll also go ahead and do the same for the back as well. So at this point, this is the back. I've gone ahead to iron this down. This is just water stain. The stove iron almost burned my clothes, but this is what we're having for the back pattern at this point. Then for the front, this is it as well. I have gone ahead to attach the lining like this, and this is what it's looking like. So for now, for the back, I've just gone ahead to close it by 1 inch, and I'm going to be showing how I'll be fixing my zipper for this outfit. Now when it comes to this, so because of the way the curve is and all, it might not be easy to fix the zipper. So but what you're going to do is just that you just try to pin it down before you go ahead and stitch it down with your machine. So just try and pin it down following the natural curve that the skirt gives to you. So just pin it down using your zipper allowance, and then whatever it's remaining, you just follow it and then stitch it down. So just the way I'm using my hands represented to show it, that is how it's going to be like. So at this point, I am done joining the skirts by the sides, and I've also joined the zipper as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and iron it so that it has a neater and a better look. So after then, I'm just going to go ahead and place my fringe this way. Actually, I'm going to start from the back. So I'll place the fringe this way, all the way around. So I want to measure what I have here. At this point, I'm having like 19 inches. So 19 inches times 2 for the other side, that's 38. And I bought 5 yards. Okay, so that means this will go around about 4 times, like 4.5 times. So that's what I'm just going to do. So I start from here, if I start from here, I'll go all around and around and around and around until the end of this number of yards I have here. After fixing the fringe, this is the outcome of the fixing. I didn't end up using the whole 5 yards because it was getting bulky and it was kind of making the skirt fold at the midpoint. So I just went around by 4 times only, and it gave this much fullness. For the actual key design at the hemline of the skirt, I made it by cutting 40 inches long strap, and it was 2 inches wide. I folded it and then just placed it on the parts that I stitched the fringe. So that was just how I did it. There is no big deal about it. So if this is something that you found helpful, please do not forget to like, to subscribe, to comment, and also to turn on your notification bell as well. Thank you for watching.